Here in Florida, the heat's getting ready to set in. But in most climates, this one vegetable that I'm going to talk about today will be thriving. And you can get started on it this weekend. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Phil. I have this 90% food from my garden challenge. It's each month I try to eat 90% out of my garden. Every week I give you an update on how I'm doing. And I invite you to come along with me and try to grow your own food. In this video, I'll be showing you my 90% challenge, what I harvested this week, what I'm going to harvest, how I'm doing for this monthly challenge. In the end, I'm going to show you what I'm doing to cure onions in a small space. And then I will reveal my favorite vegetable to plant. I'm still doing pretty good this month. This jar is really full. That is the one that I've been picking from the garden. It includes the ones that I've been using in the freezer because in the morning when I have an omelet with a tomato, I have to use it from the frozen ones that I harvested last year. So that still counts as a green one since it was in the garden. Pretty soon I'm hoping I'll get some ripe tomatoes, but right now I don't have any. Then the grocery store jar, it's pretty empty, which I'm happy about. It's due to the fact that we have a lot of onions and potatoes. That's where my grocery jar gets in trouble. And then also the berries. I've been able to harvest a few strawberries here and there to add to my salad. Next, I'm going to show you what I have harvested and what I'm going to harvest. This is what I harvested this week. Celery, carrots, lettuce, lots of peppers and cucumbers and snow peas, and onions and potatoes. These are the vegetables that I'll be harvesting this week. Those are snow peas, kale, Swiss chard, cucumber. New to pick this week is the bok choy and zucchini. They'll make a great stir fry. Now, I'm going to go into detail about curing the onions. These I have already harvested. I just cut them down. They're totally cured because you can tell they're dry. They've been drying for several weeks now, probably about 3. So now they're ready to trim and store. They only store for a couple of months because I can only grow the short day onions here. They don't tend to store very well, but I can freeze them or even dry them if I want to keep more. But usually, unfortunately, we go through them. Even though I grew double what I grew last year, I still know that we will go through all of these onions, even with double the harvest. These have been air dried and I'm ready to hang them in my storage area to dry. I don't have a lot of space in the storage area, so I lay them out in the carport where they can air dry somewhat for a few weeks, and then I'll tie them up and hang them where I have space in the storage. These are some I just harvested today, and what I do after I harvest them is I sort them out. Some are really small, and I eat them as green onions. They're a little soft on top, so I just pick them so it makes more space in the garden to grow other things. And then I store them in the refrigerator in a plastic bag. And there are some onions that are just in between. They're not worth curing, but they're not green either. So I use these right away. To store the onions, I just use a paper bag and make sure I put down what day it is so I know which ones to use first. So you trim about 1 or 2 inches the stem, so it looks like this. Then I trim off the roots. So now it's ready to store in the paper bag for a month or 2. I'll have to keep checking them to make sure none of them get rotten. What I do is the small ones I put in a separate bag because they are ones that are most likely to rot first. So those go in a small bag. Sometimes I even put them out in a bowl just so I know to use them. Even sometimes after a couple of weeks, I'll put them in the refrigerator because I don't want to lose any. Swiss chard is my favorite super vegetable. I just love it because it's easy to grow in most climates. And in some climates, like when I was in Maryland, Zone 7, it would go all throughout the year, even the winter, when we had a mild winter. There's also so many ways you can cook it. You can plant it in the ground in containers, raised beds. Next, I'm going to be showing you the best varieties and how to start growing it from seed. There is a trick to growing it from seed. Planting Swiss chard is a little bit more complicated than most seeds. I like the rainbow chard. It works the best. I tried a few others this year and they're really not doing that well. The rainbow chard, it's pretty and it's really the best that I've tried. These seeds are a little bit different. They're kind of woody. So before planting, you can stick them in a cup of water just for 30 minutes to 45 before you plant them. Now I can't plant them here because it's just too late, but I'm going to be setting up a hydroponic system indoors since I can't grow outside. That'll be a different video, but I'm going to let them sit here. Then I'm also going to put some, you can use a wet paper towel, just stick them on it, put it in a plastic bag, let it sit overnight. Then you're ready to put them in the soil. Or in my case, I'm going to be planting them in little hydroponic pods. That'll be a different video, probably next week. If you haven't started planting already, now is the time because it's spring and you can really get started and then follow along with this journey with me. Be sure to click on the subscribe button so you can find out different options for getting started yourself on this journey. Next week, I'll explore even more options so that you can get started on this journey to eat 90% from your garden yourself, or maybe even if you could hit 10%. That's a good savings.